Yeah.
Good afternoon and welcome back at the FIDE World Youth Under-16 Chess Olympiad with the penultimate round, round number 8, coming up in around 15 minutes. And once again, Anna-Maja, Kazarian joined me here at the commentary for today's afternoon round. Welcome, Anna-Maja.
Thank you, Stefan. Round 8. I'm super excited for this round. It's the final one, before the final one. It's not over yet. There's still something to be fought for, but China is still leading, still ahead of the competition, but not completely crushing it in the competition.
Not anymore.
Not anymore.
Not anymore. I think we can, let me just see if we can see the result of the previous round. Nope.
I can show it for you.
Yes, that's good. I try to do things myself, but not quite. This is the pairing for this round, by the way, but the previous round we saw Armenia finally the first team that managed to keep China to a draw. And that means the the race for the title is still somewhat exciting. China's still very strong, but there's still a theoretical chance that someone is catching up. And those teams can be Kazakhstan or Turkey or Armenia, because Kazakhstan beat Uzbekistan and Turkey beat the Ukraine. And the rest of the teams are trailing by 3 match points. So I thought China was only 1 match point ahead, but they're 2 match points ahead.
Right.
I made a mistake there in the morning session. So they do have a comfortable lead and also a very, very good tiebreak, which is not surprising, of course, since they're leading the entire tournament, the previous 7 rounds. So that's that. Then we have the pairings that are as follows. China's playing Hungary, and we see a big clash on board to Kazakhstan, first seed, playing Turkey, 3rd seed. So
very exciting matchup.
Yeah, going to be very close. Armenia's playing Azerbaijan, and we see the Netherlands, even though they won the previous round, they're still playing board 4, this time facing Austria. So that is the pairing, and still no sign of Kazakhstan 3.
Yeah, but it's really awesome to see the other 4 Kazakhstan teams in the top 15 pairing. So they're doing a really good job. Meanwhile, the Netherlands are not doing such a good job. But I did see the pairings that the Netherlands 3 is facing the Netherlands 4. As I was at the lunch, I was walking down the stairs and I heard one of the Dutch players say, yeah, we have to play against each other or something like that. And I thought, wait, are they playing against some other Dutch team? And that's how I found out.
Yeah, so these are the upcoming pairs for this round. We still have 12 minutes to go. And once again, we do have some nice tactics for you from the previous round. If I'm not mistaken, only the previous round, just to get the brain juices flowing again. First fragment is from the game we saw.
It was
between Agasarov playing white and
yes.
Kong playing black, and this is the first time China lost a game. It was very surprising. Last move was the queen moving to e4, and here it feels like it should just be a draw because queen and knight against the queen is nothing special. But white just had a very nice sequence here to win the game. You always have to be careful not to get checkmated in such an endgame, and it did happen. So knight to f4. Doesn't matter where the king goes. I think in the game it went to g4, and then queen g6. It's such a beautiful checkmate. King takes the knight, and queen g3 checkmate.
It's a very classic pattern, and this checkmate has been missed by many top players. This is also in the World Badminton Blitz. This also happens similar pattern, not particularly the same position, but similarly where the king is simply stuck, the queen delivers a checkmate, and even though the opponent has more material on the board, it's a really pretty one.
Yeah, and black just caused it himself. That's the most annoying part, because I think he played. Where did the queen come from? I think it was on g4.
I believe so too.
Just give away your pawns. It's probably even easier than to make a draw than with the pawns on the board. But that's chess. I love it.
You love chess.
No, it's just those things that it's what makes the game beautiful. No, this is the same puzzle again from the. That's weird. Let me try and refresh, because. There we go. Now it does load successfully. This one was quite cool. It's white to move. It's not super difficult, because if you know there's a tactic, there's only a few moves that are even available to play. But the way it works is quite cool, because, well, once again, since you know it's a tactic, the first move is kind of obvious. You have to give a check, rook c8 check, king goes to d7. And now if you want to achieve something, your next move it might be a bit invisible, but you'll probably see that queen c1 is the correct move. And now the funny thing is, you can't do anything about checkmate on c6.
Yeah, it's incredible, because if you protect with rook e6, then you get checkmated on c7.
Yeah, and
so
same
it
goes
doesn't really help.
for queen e6, and you get the same idea where the queen is once again blocking the black king, and there's another checkmate. So not super difficult if you know what to look for. But it's quite aesthetically pleasing that black cannot defend the king anymore, even with all the pieces nearby.
Yeah.
We have time for some more? Yeah, we do. This one is nice. This is for the viewers to have a look and solve. It's not super difficult, I guess. Just a basic tactic, I think. But you got to be sharp to see these things.
Yeah, it may appear simple, but during the game, if you miss it, then you'll regret it very much, and then you wish you'd practice those tactics. So that's why even practicing simple puzzles is very healthy to maintain your chess level and improve.
Yep. Yeah, and it makes it easier because your queen is under attack. So the move knight f6 might also look good, but okay, queen is hanging, so not really successful. But you just switch the move order. Take on g8, king takes, and then knight takes f6 check, pawn is pinned, win back the queen, and the game. Nice.
Very nice.
And I think the last one, I mean, there were more possible tactics, but this one, Leonard insisted that we show this one.
We were forced.
Yeah, I didn't really think it's like a tactic at this point, but there are indeed some very nice tactics in the lines. It's black to move, and you're not down any material, but the d pawn looks very threatening. But okay, the white king is under some pressure there, but white has firm control over the e-file, therefore always making sure that rook e1 is a possibility. So if you play queen a1 check, there's rook e1, and it's hard to find a follow-up, while in the meantime your rook is hanging, d6 is threatened with the bishop to f7. I mean, it's trouble instantly. But you can play rook c8, indeed. It's a very nice move. And the funny thing is, if you take the queen, then suddenly there's no cooperation between the pieces anymore. So rook e1 is no longer an issue, bishop d1 is not an issue. It will be checkmate. And if you try to block everything, let's say bishop d1, then there's just rook c1. You just continue the same idea. Queen e8 check, king g7 and rook e1, and here there's just more tactics coming. You just take the bishop on d1, rook takes d1 and queen f3. It's just very nice how it all works together, and with only a few pieces you can make a lot of combinations.
Very nice.
A few tactics to get warmed up. I don't think we have more. No, this is it.
This is it.
This is it. So we all we have to depend on the players how many tactics they allow in their games for us to show. So shall we have a look at the? Maybe we can have a look at the playing hall and see a lot of players at the same time.
Yeah, some of the players arrived very early actually. As we were in the starting soon screen, we saw that I believe this is board 1 of the first match, where Zoka Gal is already present at her board. So we have on the first board we have China versus Hungary, and here we see the overview. On the second board we have Kazakhstan against Turkey. So very exciting matches today as well in this round. Players are getting seated. Some players have their national team shirts on, or there's also some hoodies, but it's really awesome to see representing their own countries. It looks really nice.
The funny thing is I always after lunch I sit in the lobby at the entrance of the hotel, so I see everyone leave to the bus. And I mean, when we look at these players, especially when you use the player cams that are from a little bit from below, and you see them make the moves and play the games, you're like, wow, he's good, he's really good, or she's really good, and they look like really, impressive chess players and experienced people. And then you sit in the lobby and you see them walk by, you're like, geez, they're kids.
Yeah. The realization.
They're really just kids, They're tiny, You almost forget about it. But I was thinking geez, they're just really tiny. And we're now seeing the star of the tournament so far, Miao Lu, and she has a 100% score on board 4, and she's only 13. I mean, looking like this, if she has her death stare, you're like, that's a very experienced chess player. But she's just 13, just a kid, but playing amazing chess. And you do forget about it every once in a while if you just only see them behind the board. But when you see them playing around the lobby and they're having fun in the hotel, and you're like, yeah, no, definitely kids, and thank God they still are kids, and have fun, besides when they're not playing, of course. So that's a good thing, but it was a little realization I had this afternoon. So yeah, no, amazing talents. It's very good to have them all here. Competing, and yeah, they're talented.
Absolutely. The time control is 45 minutes and 10-second increments, so this is slightly different from what you're used to with either classical, which is much longer, or rapid, which is usually a bit shorter than this time control, but this time control is still considered rapid. So the rapid ratings are used in this event. Some of the players are high rated and have their rating similar to their classical rating, but there are quite a few players over here who have a much lower rapid rating. So don't be fooled by the ratings. Some of them appear to be much stronger than they are.
Yep, they are. It's 2 minutes before the game starts, and we have no feed of the top boards just yet. So we're only the bottom boards. I can't find any top matches there. Only 44 boards on Lead Chess, and that's just not gonna do it. So we are desperately waiting for live feeds from the top boards. We hope we get them soon.
Which team is the topmost board underdog this round? We have been asking the chat. I think Armenia is up there. Armenia's playing on board 3, ranked 15th, but as we've seen, having a very good tournament so far, drawing China in the last match. And Armenia is now playing Azerbaijan, and we also have Kazakhstan 2, who is ranked 22nd but playing on board 5. So that is also quite impressive, and they're now playing against Romania. And Romania is also quite a strong team.
Yep. And next board, even Greece, which is seated
Yeah.
one place below Kazakhstan too. So, yeah, we have some nice surprises there. Even though we talked about Armenia, board 4 is 1500 rated, but she's so much stronger.
Yeah.
So yeah, some of those aren't entirely reflecting the truth. I do hope we get games very soon, because else we're talking about ratings all the time here. So I think it will be up there anytime soon. The players still have 1 minute to go before the round starts, and we'll have this nice, our favorite view, where we see the massive handshakes coming. Yeah, we
It's
can
such
hear
a
the
bright view.
Yeah, we can hear the arbiter yell.
Yeah, I heard that too.
And there you go. The
And
games
the games have started. There you go. The first moves have been played. I actually see one board where the player was still spending some time on the first move. That's really funny to see. In the meantime, we're trying to get the live feed up of the boards. So we're just going to enjoy this view of 16 boards. We have so many cameras installed in this event, showing the boards from different angles. We have 2 cameras for each of the top boards, and then we also have cameras to show the view of the hall, the matches, and it's just really amazing that we have so much available here at this event.
Yep, we do, and we have games.
Amazing.
And I think pushing this magical button might bring us.
Will.
It should.
It should.
It didn't preview.
There we are.
We have games, and I think the names will be up there anytime soon as well. So there we go. Board 1, where we see China playing white, Wen Shui against Shoka Gal from Hungary, and we see this very popular line in the Caro-Kann, which happens after e4, c6, d4, knight f3, d5, and here d3, which is a very weird move.
Yeah.
Because you just allow the exchange of pawns and the exchange of queens, and that's it. Looks strange, but it's quite tricky, and normally continue with knight f6, knight d2, and I think here g5 is a popular move.
Oh wow.
So it's very popular and rather unexplored, and it's just a very open position with many possibilities. So right now black is still thinking bishop g4 also is a move, but I think then bishop e3 followed by knight d2, and you can start pushing pawns and harass the bishop a bit. This should be fine for white, so I think knight f6 is the main line. But okay, it's not really critical just yet what you play. And I just hear that we're talking about how talented these players are. The first board of Turkey, and I think he is playing, it's the second match, right?
Second match against Kazakhstan.
We're looking at him right now, I think, yeah.
Yeah.
He did get a wild card for the FIDE Grand Swiss in Isle of Man. That was announced yesterday. That is, then you're a good player.
Yeah, that is amazing. That's amazing news for such a young, talented player. We love to see them rise and play in such big events, challenging the top players. We love to see that.
Yeah, Mr. Gurel, 80s Gurel, he is the proud owner of a wild card for the Grand Swiss. So, yeah, that's a beautiful event to play.
I love that in every single event, the main question is, where is Hikaru? And unfortunately for Hikaru, this event, he would not be allowed to participate as we are in the Youth Olympiad under 16 years old. The other day I posted on my socials that I'm at this tournament, and some people were jokingly saying that I'm participating. But unfortunately, I'm also not allowed to play.
Yeah, that's too bad. All right, shall we do our usual... Wait, what happens there? Shall we check, well, our favorite player? She made it. Lou, she did it. Amazing. What?
Oh, she made it to 47 minutes. I was already looking like, did she made it to the board? Was she not present? Am I going crazy?
I thought you would figure it out very soon.
And I saw the clock.
Yeah, so we're playing 45 minutes plus 10-second increment, and she made it to 47 minutes on the clock. It's just, I mean, it doesn't matter anything, but it's. She's been trying all tournament, I think, and now she pulled it off by playing so quickly. And we get this transposition to Sveshnikov. Now she's going for bishop b4, a3, bishop takes, knight takes. Now this is supposed to be quite a harmless line for white. Bishop d3, and white just has pleasant play against the isolated pawn, has the pair of bishops. Black has some initiative, but it shouldn't be a problem. But Lou just knows what she's doing and playing instant as usual. Bishop h5, bishop g5, going for the pin. Don't do that anymore, please, to my games.
Oh no, the producer says.
Yeah, let's try and switch to Lichess, and we will search for the game here. Here we go. That's a quick switch. Bishop g5, queen b6, check unpinning the knight, attacking the king and the pawn on b2. King h1 played, and now an instant knight e4, going for the madness.
Wow.
It looks crazy because there's also knight takes d5, attacking the queen, and then you can take the knight afterwards. But then there's knight f2. No king g1, of course. You might focus on grabbing the queen, but of course there's this check. Yep.
Ooh, if that happens in your game, ooh, that's very unpleasant.
Yeah, that's upsetting. So after knight f2, you would have to take, but then of course black is just up material, so no knight takes d5 possibilities there. So she took an e4 with the knight, pawn takes, bishop takes, and queen takes b2. And she played it all instantly, and she's looking at her opponent again. But is it that good for black?
Yeah, it's interesting because white has a pair of bishops, it's a very open position, and the only weakness that white really has are those two pawns on the queen side. And yeah, the fact that the pawn moved to f3 is not such a big issue, it seems like.
Queen d6 was played, which is it feels a bit random. It does nothing there, it just stands there.
It's sort of attacking c6, so bishop takes c6 is a threat, but then again, you're not really going to win the pawn. c2 is also hanging, so do you think this might be heading towards a draw? Or is there still some chances for either side to fight for a win?
Well, yeah, I mean, I prefer white a lot here. I think he might just be preparing rook b1, or at least defending the pawn, so maybe rook a b1 as well.
Oh.
And bishop g6 played so fast. But I don't understand queen d6. I mean, I would just play this one here, just give up the a pawn, and then take on b7. I quite like the activity my bishop gets, and also because there's bishop e7. So I would like to see how black will respond to this, because the knight is hanging. Bishop e7 is only defended by the knight, really. So how do you beat this? And going queen d6 loses a move, I think. So bishop g6 played, still more than 47 minutes.
Yeah, there's some really dangerous threats in the position for black to deal with. So yeah, it's very interesting to see that Lou is playing almost instantly, which seems it seems that she's feeling very confident here, but it doesn't look so bright for her.
No, I mean, okay, so this is possible for white, but you don't want this as white, because this is just heading to a draw. So now I would expect rook a b1, still with similar pressure, but I kind of want to play like bishop d5 on the next move. I would like to keep those bishops on the board if that's possible, but I'm not sure where the queen goes. It's quite relevant for whatever happens next. Maybe like queen c3. You can also consider taking on g6 and then taking on b7. You allow queen takes c2 maybe, But now you got activity. You have some rook c7 ideas maybe. Rook c1 is out there. And with pawns on both sides of the board, the bishop should be favored over the knight. So you're looking for something like this, and I'm surprised that she goes into this so quickly, because I don't really like it for black. It doesn't have any prospects of playing for the advantage, I think.
Yeah.
Well, that's what she's been doing the entire tournament. She is always trying to play for the attack and the win, and that feels rather impossible here.
Yeah, it's not such an attacking position anymore, indeed. So I'm curious to see what she has in mind for the next few moves. But so far, it seems that white has the initiative.
Yep, I think so too. All right, let's have a look at the other games in this match. Because I mean, today, this afternoon, China can clinch the victory if all the results are in their favor. So it could be possible that we have a winner after this round. It's not very likely, but it's possible. So we have board number 2, where we see Matthias Palschut playing white against Xiao Tong playing black, or probably Tong Xiao. I always forget what order to pronounce the Chinese names. My apologies in advance, and for all the times I said it wrong already. Here we have a very classical, well, not the classical Sicilian, but a classical Sicilian. We have the Najdorf, but a very classical fashion where white just goes f4, queen e2, castles queenside, and goes for g4, b5, a3. a3 is always difficult because the engine is a big fan of this move, but a human can't really be a big fan, because allowing this b4 move, engine doesn't mind because he's not scared, but you should be quite scared of these b4 ideas. And I've seen plenty of games where white played a3 according to the engine, but then lost within 10 moves because it's just too difficult. So bishop b7, and here it's white to move, and just an exciting position. Anything can still happen early on in the game. So let's head to game number 3.
Yeah, let's take a look. It's the early stages of the game, and the players are so far playing pretty well-known lines, nothing too crazy. But in this game, let's take a look what happened.
Yeah, this is a very new and very
Bishop f4.
very well, new and popular, I think. c4, e5, bishop e3, knight f6, knight c3, bishop e7. So white is having this Maroczy bind kind of setup with e4 and c4. I call all the e4, c4 setups Maroczy binds, so you can just ignore that. Bishop e2, castle, castle, bishop e6, and b4. And this looks quite nice for black, because it's very easy to push the move d5, which is a move you often like to play.
Yeah.
But here it's not that good, so it looks very tempting, but I think after like mass exchanges, something like this, I think there's like b5 for white, and these two pawns are quite dangerous against just this single a pawn, and you can quickly try to create a pass pawn on that side of the board. So it does look okay for black to push d5, but it's not the case here. So I think black needs to do something else. I'm not sure what, maybe just queen c7 or rook d8, or you know, continue the game, but just don't play the move d5. I think it's too early on to try this. But I think this is still, I mean, this is a sideline, but I think it's the main line of the sideline. So it should still be rather well known for at least white in this case.
Yeah, black has been spending quite some time already, so that does give an indication that white is still in the preparation. Black is the one that is figuring things out at the board.
Yeah. Yep, he is, and that takes time, but rightly so. You don't want to play d5 too quickly here. All right. Having said all that, anything shocking we should see on the other boards?
So far, everything seems very theoretical. I see on one of the boards, I see some crazy Kalashnikov type of structure in the third match on board 2. There's pawns on d5, e5, and f5 facing the pawn e4. That looks rather exciting.
Yeah, that's That's well-known stuff in the Sveshnikov. We can just show how this happened. Sveshnikov is full of those crazy lines. Takes on f6, knight d5. So white is the d5 square. That's the Sveshnikov in a nutshell. And black has to work around it somehow. So knight e7 takes, c4, f5. And I think I'm not sure, but I think there are lines where white goes queen f3 and black goes d5.
Wow.
There's some, I'm not sure if this is the exact line, but you have situations where you have to play like d5 here, and it gets super theoretical. But also after cb5 there's d5. It's a nice way to attack this central pawn and make sure to push this e-pawn no matter where white captures. And once you once you play the move e4, so let's say ed5, e4, this bishop is being activated. b2 is hanging, and that also makes a3 and a1 being loose and hanging, and all kinds of trouble might arise. And white happily gives away all the pawns on the queen side just to get his activity. It's a beautiful opening for that reason. B takes a6 plate and now even castles. That's surprising.
Yeah, just completely ignoring the pawn on e4.
I guess you don't want any checks. I guess.
Yeah, it makes a lot of sense. Usually the king on e8 is very unsafe in these lines, especially after b takes a6 indeed. So it makes a lot of sense. And now there's still, after the pawn captures one of the pawns, for example e takes d5 I mentioned, there will be e4 played. So I guess the threats are simply still present in the position.
It shows how much black wants to play this e4 move.
Yeah.
Just gives another pawn, and yeah, you're down 3 pawns. It's not like it's nothing, it's just 3 pawns, but doesn't matter too much. So exciting stuff there between Ahmad Kagan and Eric Gasparian. And well, if you're unprepared as white, it can be quite dangerous, but we'll see how that one turns out. Let's check first match, first board. I mean, we'll focus on China, of course, since we're approaching the end of this event. So if we're heading to their game, and I think this works. I'm not sure. No.
Nope, doesn't. Just as we went there, it sort of refreshed.
So I guess it's better to just go here, and we will check. I'm breaking things, but fixing it as well.
Very good.
That's good. So we're back to match 1, board 1, and the game between Wen Shui and Zhou Gal, and that's we saw the first moves in the Caro-Kann, but it developed, of course, and curious to see how black responded after king takes d1. She played knight f6, knight bd2. You're not supposed to play that move.
Seems like the bishop on c1 is aiming somewhere else.
Yeah, but normally you play knight fd2. But now knight bd2, and I'm not sure if that makes a big difference. Maybe you have some possibilities. Well, I don't know. Don't really know the move. g6, bishop d3, bishop g7. So basically, what is happening here is that white has some quick play on the queen side. Normally goes for a quick knight c4, king c2. You can play a4, a5. You can bring the bishop to e3 or f4. I mean, you have several options here to develop your pieces, and you seem to be somewhat faster than black.
Yeah.
But also you need a good understanding of these positions, and they seem easy because it's equal and no tension, but they're actually quite difficult to fully understand, because once you make a bad move, you only see the consequences like 3, 4, 5, maybe 6 moves later, and it's hard to understand the consequences of every move you make. So knight b3 is a bit of a strange move. It normally goes to c4, but maybe the other knight is destined to go to c4. So a5, a4, knight g4, rook f1. They're freestyling a bit here. b6. Now you see this knight is positioned somewhat strangely, can only go to d4, but black might just play e5 at some point, forcing the knight to probably go back to d2 again. So, but okay, king c2 played. White still has plenty of time. Black needs some more time to get to this position, and she's still thinking about what to do next.
Yeah, I really like black's setup here with the pawns on the queen side, as you mentioned, limiting the white knight on b3. And it's hard to see where the plan is of white. So it's always really good to see what your opponent does and react on it. And this is a typical example. So the knight got to b3, and this is the way that we limit the knight now. Would you say that black wants to consider playing e5 in the near future?
Well, that's difficult because she just played bishop b7, by the way. But the thing is, you had three pieces looking at e5. So they're all interested. Well, the bishop doesn't want to go there, but wants to have some room to to look around a bit. Knights might want to go to e5, but also you really like to play e5, so you take the d4 square away because both knights might be interested in that square. So it's hard to say if you want to play e5. I think if you can wait, I'd like to wait, because white doesn't have the chance to go e5, so you're fine to wait. And if you play bishop b7, now maybe after, let's say, knight d4, then it's a good time to play e5 because you simply win a move or win a tempo, maybe two. So I don't know, because you need to do something at some point, and you might also play the move c5, also controlling the d4 square. But then again, you're giving away b5, so it's always difficult. Every pawn move has its up and down sides. So I wish I could tell for sure if you should play e5 or not. That would mean I have a very good understanding of the position, but I just don't. So I wouldn't dare to say for sure what you're supposed to do.
Yeah, it's tough because you want to take more space in position, but it's hard to say which pawn move you want to play because pawns don't move backwards. So you have to be really careful when you think about a pawn move, if you really want to commit to this, or if it can wait, or if you're maybe weakening other squares around the pawn.
Yeah, that is true. And also for white, I find it difficult. Yeah, h3 is a logical move, I think, at least to make to force black to make a move with this knight and make up her mind on what she wants to do. Do you want to go to e5 or do you want to go to f6? I think after knight e5 we will probably see knight takes, and bishop e2. And trying to go for f4 and bishop f3 maybe. And after c5 you probably see knight d2 defending the pawn like this. And then after f4 you will get bishop f3, knight c4, and then white is gonna slowly bring the pieces to all the right squares. I think that's maybe what we're seeing right now. Yeah, it's happening on the board now. So we've seen bishop e2 has been played. And yeah, now f4 is coming. And then you have to be a bit careful, because if white grabs the center and also manages to neutralize the diagonals of the bishops, then black might be getting pushed back. So I'm not quite sure how you're supposed to proceed here as black. Sometimes f5 is a move, but not here, because f4 is coming instantly. Difficult.
Yeah, it's a very interesting position. Both players have the pair of bishops, but which pair of bishops is better? And also we have to keep an eye on the pawn on b6 that is pretty weakened. So bishop e3 can be annoying on the next move. And how do you deal with that too? So a very exciting game, and I'm expecting a lot of fun stuff happening in this one.
Yeah, it has to. Yeah, it can go quick. White can get a dominated position very quick, but maybe black is able to find a clever way to stop white's plans and initiative. So we'll see how that turns out. And shall we check board 2, because it's action time in the Sicilian.
Yeah, we see that white just played the move e5, which indicates that fire is happening on the board, and we have to check in what is happening, who is attacking, and is this good or bad for white to play e5?
Yeah, you're asking the question. I almost feel obliged to answer it now. Yeah, he takes on e5. He doesn't seem too impressed. Which, I mean, the move is very normal, of course, so you wouldn't be very surprised. So d e5. Now, do we consider anything other than fe5? Nope.
We do have bishop takes b7 in between, but it seems very unnecessary.
Yeah. Okay, so now black also has to move the knight. I guess knight going to d5. Exactly, knight fd5 played. And you can now exchange bishops on g7, but there's knight c3 in between, so you got to be careful. You have to play a move like knight takes d5 first, or you can maybe try knight e4, but then I think e5 is just hanging, right?
Yeah, I don't see... Do you have knight f6 check? No, you just take back with the pawn or the bishop.
Yeah, exactly. Threatening the queen. I guess bishop takes is most natural, yeah. I mean, you could take the bishop and then try knight f6 for this discovery, but it feels a bit sketchy. So no, he didn't go for this. He went for knight takes d5. I guess knight takes d5, or did he play bishop takes? Bishop takes. He just wants to exchange those bishops, I suppose. I mean, it could be an annoying pin, maybe, if you leave the knight on d5. And the knight might want to go to c4, creating some pressure on b to a3. I don't know. Maybe there's some possibility there at some point. But here can you... Hold on. There's also some knight f5 possibilities arising here. Also bishop e7 maybe? Or a combination of both?
Yeah, if white doesn't have any attack going on, it seems that e5 may not have been the right choice, as black is simply dominating on the light squares, and I can see an attack happen on the queen side very soon. The knight on b6 is ready to strike, the queen is already placed on c7, and with the bishop on d5, it is getting very tricky for white. So white needs to come up with something now to counter this, or to simply start attacking on the king side, but it doesn't look very simple.
No, and as you said, white is quite slow. I mean, if you need your pawns, then you're just too late, because it takes it takes ages to get those pawns there. Well, black has this, as mentioned, this a3 move is tricky, because with b4 you have immediate confrontation and quickly forcing matters. Now,
bishop takes has been played and queen takes e7.
Right. Okay, so maybe now you'd also take on d5. I'm just not sure about this. Knight takes, and is this a good thing to go knight f5? Because you might be able to go to d6. But there's also a chance that maybe this is just fine for black. I don't know. Maybe even take on g4.
Yeah, you could also maybe consider knight c3 in between to weaken the queen side completely.
Ah, of course. Yes. Oh yeah, of course. Then this whole line doesn't make any sense. Knight c3, that's a very powerful intermediate move there. Take. Now, well, it's still tricky though.
It's tricky, but those pawns on the queen side are horrendous.
But are you going to take a3?
I was planning to.
Okay. But then I'm going to claim that your attack is very slow.
Oh.
But maybe you just take on
maybe
c3, have some
b4?
perpetuals. That's a race.
Queen g4. No. This is getting exciting.
It is very close. I want to go like queen g4, g6, but yeah, no, this is tricky because you can't really take on b4 because rook b8, of course.
If c takes b4, I even want to consider a5.
Yeah, exactly. Or rook b8 once again. So many. Oh no, this is looking awful. Okay, so you convinced me. He's still thinking about. No, he took with the knight. And okay, so no more knight f5. Let's forget about that move because knight c3 is just too painful to watch. I don't
But
like
it
that.
may be considered by Matthias. So, yeah, let's see what he comes up with. Because if not for knight f5, what does white have? Because all the other moves are very slow. You do not have rook d3 because that will be followed by knight f4. So, yeah, what else is there for white then?
Maybe play it slow. Not sure how slow. I mean, maybe we can still try to push h4 and hope that black isn't that fast. I mean, what's black gonna do here? b4 feels logical, but I think I can just... No, wait, it is quite dangerous. I want to say a4, but follow up with b3 is very difficult because there's always knight c3. And is this a problem? I think I can just take the pawn. Black doesn't have too many pieces in the attack.
Are you in time for knight c3 even here?
I probably will miss knight c3 on every occasion in this game.
I'm just there to remind you about this move.
Oh no, but this is terrible. This is just winning, right? What am I gonna do? King a2?
Yeah, you're not in time to protect queen b4.
Queen b4. No, this is just checkmate. There's nothing.
It's incredible how you're unable to defend. Usually you want to move the queen to c1, so queen e3, queen c1 comes to mind, but then you just simply face a rook on b8 and you're not going to survive this at all.
Nope, you should play queen a3
a3
first.
and then rook b8, yeah. That is devastating.
Okay, but still knight b3, is it?
Okay, you're holding on. There must be a
No,
checkmate.
yeah, it is checkmate. Yeah, you take on b3 twice, you take on a4, king goes to b1, and you play rook b8, and it's done.
There we go.
Okay. Okay, so knight c3, I will memorize that move. I will not forget about it anymore. So no h4 maybe. I wanted to go queen f3, but now I'm second guessing myself on every occasion. Because once again, I feel like knight c3 is something I need to keep an eye on. But even if you're prepared with rook b8. Oh, there's knight c6. Okay, hold on.
Ooh.
Let's not get too carried away here. So queen f3 might be good because you want something on the third rank. You mentioned rook d3. I would really love to play the move, but
yeah,
I can't. So queen f3 makes sense. Did he make a move? No. No, it's a tricky position for white. I guess black is doing pretty well, and yeah, he looks happy. Well, at least happy about. He seems relaxed. I mean, he's just looking around a bit, and I think he's the one who was actually attacking and not his opponent. And maybe his opponent missed his whole knight c3 idea as well. Maybe he thought, well, I can always play knight f5, and
exactly.
you know.
It looks very appealing to play.
I also noticed after knight f5 there might be, well, not here. Okay, there's also some ideas with queen takes a3. I mean, there's
that's
many.
even worse.
You have this rook d5 maybe, but there's just tricks working in black's favor, and white doesn't have similar ideas.
Shall we take a look at board 1, because there has been some progress there in the position. We see that there's a pawn move made from black's side, so I'm curious to see how we evaluate this position as f5 has been played and white captured that. Are we happy about this f5 move?
Yeah, so I just want to see quickly what happened here. So bishop e2, c5, no knight e2, but bishop b5 check.
Yeah.
King f8, f3, and here f5, okay. e5. Yeah, so f5 is a typical move, and your question was?
Are we happy with this, with black?
With black, okay. No.
No.
I don't think so. She's not recapturing either. She's just.
Yeah, maybe does she have something else in mind? Bishop, or maybe c4, trapping the bishop?
You're not gonna win it.
No.
You're just allowing knight d4. No, that doesn't.
Oh, that doesn't look right.
The problem is if you take on f5, you go bishop f4, I guess, is the most logical move.
Mm-hmm.
And this is a very nasty idea, so can't really move the knight. But your pawn structure is one big mess. So this pawn here, you have rook e1. I mean, you're not going to be able to defend your knight. The white bishops are so much stronger because they at least try to cover squares, and the other two black bishops are just looking at brick walls. Now this is looking terrible for black. And what is she contemplating here?
Yeah, I'm curious as well because I'm failing to see entry points for black here to fight for some counterplay, but I don't think she captured a pawn.
Ah, bishop c8. Okay, that's
Oh, I like that move.
a funny move. Okay, so her plan must be that if you take on g6, you give a check on f5. King goes to
The
uncomfortable
d-file.
square like d1. Okay, but even here,
White should be fine, but black has something to play for at least.
yeah.
Rook d8 check, simply activating the pieces. I like that black's pieces are more active, but she would have to figure out how to access the king after the check. Maybe she's planning to move a piece to d3.
Yeah, there might be some things. It doesn't feel like it's enough, but maybe it's still tricky. But the bad news is you don't have to answer this sacrifice. You don't have to accept the sacrifice. You can also just play, let's say, g4.
Yeah. I guess then you take the pawn on f5, but yeah, your bishop is not really doing much then on c8.
I can go for the same idea, I guess. Bishop
Yeah.
f4. I mean, do you really want to open up your king? Yeah.
Yeah, that doesn't look great.
And bishop c8 is not really helping black. Yeah, g4 played. It's looking very bad for black, I think.
Yeah. Yeah, I really like the ideas, but unfortunately the execution doesn't really seem to work out so well in black's favor.
No, and all the pieces are, well, not all the pieces, but bishop, king, knight. Even this bishop is doing nothing, basically.
Yeah, they're very discoordinated, so yeah, looking tough for black as of now.
Yeah, very difficult for black. Okay, let's check board 4, shall we?
Let's take a look, because we left off at a position where Lou was playing very quickly, and now both players have spent some time in a position, and we're now in a situation where White seems to be attacking. So let's see what happened in the last few moves.
So bishop g6 was played, rook a b1, queen c3, and here I was somewhat rooting for bishop d5, which I think was interesting to keep the tension, but Gyang decided to take on g6 and played rook takes b7. We also talked about this briefly. Rook a e8, because taking the pawn was dangerous due to rook c1 kind of moves, with the knight on c6 hanging. So rook a e8, h4, knight d4 and rook c7. But white is up a pawn and it's more active. Might this be the first time she is in serious trouble? Where do you move your queen, actually? You only have one square, don't you?
Yeah, I was trying to look. I guess you can go to a5 and b2.
A5 also. Yeah, okay, that's
But
clever.
it feels very uncomfortable to go there. I guess you also have knight b5 if you really want to.
Yeah, not losing a piece, but not very happy about it either.
We are told in the chat that this line is actually played by Dominguez against Sarana recently in the World Cup. So It's really fun to see that the players are keeping up with the recent games, and they seem to be really well prepared as well. So it's really great to see.
Yeah, she may have seemed well prepared, but this didn't turn out too well for her this time.
Yeah.
She played fast, but I mean, White also spent quite some time. He's down to 24 minutes, but he does have the advantage. He used his time well. And Lewis just, well, we haven't seen this loop from her. Yeah, she's in trouble and she knows it. She realizes that she got to fix some stuff. Well, it's looking very good for White here. What can I say?
Yeah. We'll have to see how Lou deals with this position now, but it looks really good for White, and maybe Lou can make something work with her knight on d4. Still very active, and knights are super tricky, but for now, down a pawn, it's not so clear for Lou, and she's now taking her time for this move as well.
Yeah. Okay, let's just update the boards a little bit, because there's board 1 Shui against Gal, and there she went back to b7 with the bishop. So she played f5, ef5 and bishop c8, g4, bishop b7.
So the pawn on f3 is weak, but what happens after f4?
I guess bishop e4 check again. Or bishop g2. Yeah, then you get this stuff again, but maybe I don't know, d1. Well, we just had this, but then with the pawn
on f3. Or actually...
Yeah, the pawn on f3 and the bishop captured on f5.
Yeah.
And it seemed like a mediocre version of that. No, but yeah, he played the move I was also contemplating. Bishop f4.
Okay.
Just keeping the initiative, giving back the pawn, but then, yeah, gain this nice initiative with all pieces developed. If you take with the knight on f3, you can... Well, you need to keep an eye on bishop e4 again, but maybe you can just play bishop c7. And after bishop e4, you have bishop d3 this time, because the knight is not on e5. And you're winning b6, and once you win b6, you win a5 or c5 as well.
Yeah, those pawns are not safe at all.
Nope. Not at all. Okay, so... Yeah, I like bishop f4. Just keep developing your pieces. Don't hang on desperately to your extra pawn, but just use it to activate your pieces, gain the initiative, and from there you will always be able to, well, almost always be able to win your pawn back, or maybe even more. And board 2, we see the move rook c8 being played. So we saw queen to f3, and once again see Tong very confident, just relaxing, sitting back. His opponent also relaxed, but needs to solve some problems, because I think if you go h4, I think once again the threat now is b4, and if a4, knight to c3, and now the pawn is defended on c3. I guess that's his main plan, and then queen comes to a3, and you can do all the same tricks as we just saw.
Yeah, you have to be careful here with White. And that's why being able to attack quickly is so important, because now the pawns of White are ready to attack, but Black is first. And sooner or later, White will have to switch to defensive mode to stop Black from attacking.
Yeah, also these moves may not even work anymore, because you have b4. If you go for the same line, there's still some moves like queen to b4. rook b3 and taking on d4, and the white king is exposed, a4 is hanging, e5 is hanging. So even these moves are tricky. Yep, not a fun situation for white. I think you need to find a way to stop this knight c3 move forever. Maybe knight f5 again.
Yeah, maybe now it's somewhat appealing again.
Because now knight c3 you can just take.
Yeah.
And then you can take on e7 afterwards. And if the queen moves, at least you can play knight d6 with tempo. No, wait, you can't. Wait, queen c5? And c2 is under attack. Also uncomfortable. But he did play a move, right? Oh, he is playing a move. He played rook d3. Did he?
Yeah, he played rook to d3.
Ah, okay, so, wait. Yeah, okay. So now after b4, a4, knight c3. No, I thought you could make a king move. But you have a4 hanging. Yeah, I still think this is a good line for black, to be honest. I think this position is very promising, where you've played against the white king. So, all right, let's see if Tong is gonna figure this one out, or maybe play some other move to prepare this idea. I think in the meantime, we, as mentioned, we have a special guest at the event because the president of FIDE, Arkady Dvorkovich, he is present at the moment, and our social content team managed to get an interview with him. So let's have a look at that.
All right.
Very important in terms of experience. They're getting, making friendships, and also testing themselves. The under 16 Olympiad is now recovering from COVID times. Almost 50 countries are here, many more teams, very competitive, and also seeing those kids after school championship in Kazakhstan as well is a very nice nice thing. Some of them will become professionals, some not, but the event will be in their memories for life. Well, I think it's critically important. We are like a family. Chess community is really big. There are only a few dozens of like top professionals, but hundreds of thousands people love playing chess, and this comes from the youths, from young ages when they play against each other, and they keep playing in clubs in different parts of the world. They're traveling, and this event is one of the starting points for many of them. So we should actually strengthen this tradition, have more tournaments like that, maybe in Rapid and Blitz format as well, besides this half classical chess. So we will try to do that. I think yes, they have good coaches. Actually, I can see some of the coaches coming from professional chess, so they're looking at the most talented kids to bring them to national teams afterwards, maybe in a few years. And this event is a real test for some of the talented kids, if they will show the strengths that they can play well and keep themselves under control even despite the emotions, then they can become very good players. And I can see that people are watching some of those kids. So I really hope that we will see some of them in our future top events. First of all, our congratulations to one of the oldest federation, Dutch Federation, and this Olympiad here is also because of this anniversary was a really important connection. So Dutch Federation remains a very strong one, a strong part of our chess community. But there are top events still being organized here, especially Vaikanze, of course, in the beginning of the year. Before it was Tilburg, which is very close to this place. But also an important thing is to bring chess to university campuses and to connect with tech business. So this event, I think, is placed very well here. in Eindhoven near Philips, Duff, and other companies. And maybe some kids who are playing here will become students or will work for these companies. Who knows?
That was the interview with the FIDE president Arkady Dvorkovich, who is, he looked happy to be here, and it's good to have him at such a beautiful event. We just left this game between Palstrid and Tong, and I was expecting him to think a bit longer, but he just played b4 very quickly, so I think he's heading for maybe the idea we saw or something similar. So that game is well, it's really going to start now. And also the third game, we see the move d5 being played. We left that game somewhat earlier, but let's head back to that one, because we talked about the move d5 being very difficult to execute. Let's just go back a few moves to see how we got there, because we saw, I think b4 was the last move. He played queen c7, resisting the temptation of d5. Now they both just improved their position a little bit, and knight g4, bishop d2, queen b6, bishop e1.
Oh, it's pretty passive.
Yeah, h3, knight f6, bishop d2, queen b7, bishop e3.
That's a lot of moves with the bishop.
Yeah, and here d5 is played. And now we do get to see the mass exchanges, and the big question is what is left after that. So e d5, cd5. I guess you do want to also take on d5 once again.
Yeah, at least the pawn on a6 is very weak, so that's something that white will target for sure. And yeah, why black's position is opening now as they play d5, but with the pawns on b4, a3, this bishop on e7 is not that good just yet.
Nope, he's struggling to find a purpose in this chess life. So we take, knight takes. The thing is, this is strong now.
Yeah, you'd have to consider playing bishop f1 now with white.
Or can we take on d?
Ooh, you want to sacrifice?
Well, if the rook takes, we have bishop f3, which is nice.
Yeah.
But if the queen takes, we don't have that move because of e4. And I don't think we can find a solution to this problem, so...
Not really.
It would be nice to neutralize that bishop there, but it's just not possible. So yeah, indeed have to go bishop f1. And now, I don't know, I think black has a very good version of what we just saw. A6 is indeed weak, but it's hard to attack a third time. And this bishop is just very strong on d5. So I'm not quite sure how he is supposed to continue here. Not taking on d5 also looks a bit strange.
Yeah, allowing d4 is not a good idea.
Unless you have bishop g5.
That keeps the tension at least alive, so that makes it very interesting.
After d4 you can take on f6. And if bishop f6 there's bishop f3.
Aha, and now it works.
Now it works. And if you take on c3,
I guess you could capture on e5.
Ah, yeah, the bishop can move backwards.
Always the tougher moves, moving pieces back.
That's very hidden. I just want to grab some pieces, and but this is just grabbing a pawn, and bishop f3 is a threat, and c3 is hanging, and okay. So this is interesting. So bishop g5. We're onto something here. Then what can you do? Because if you take on c4, you have the same issues. You'll take on f6 and follow up with this bishop f3 move, winning at least the exchange.
Yeah. Yeah, so taking may not be such a good idea, but there are still other moves to play.
Yeah, so what can black do here?
Yeah, it's tough to say. I'm trying to explore moves such as bishop d7 because maybe the queen on a4 is an annoying piece, but it doesn't seem to lead anywhere.
Now the only thing I can try and think of to get rid of the pressure is this knight e4 move, but it looks terrible to me. You can just take, you can even take on e7, but I think this pawn formation is quite strong, and you can just play c5 for example. Also attack a6 and just keep pushing your pawn, and no, he takes on d5. Did he? Yeah, he takes on d5. That is surprising to me.
Okay, maybe knight takes d5 will not be played, but then you're losing your dark squared bishop.
Yeah, knight takes, bishop takes. Okay, but this
Okay, it's on the board.
feels fine for black, I think.
And bishop f1 immediately played by white.
Okay, it might still be pleasant. I just like bishop g5 better.
Yeah, it looked definitely very interesting, and this is allowing a lot of counterplay for black, and now white maybe has to be the one playing passively because if you have to keep defending the pawn g2, that's pretty annoying.
Yeah. Now black should be quite happy with the proceedings. Let's check board 4, because there might be a decisive advantage for white there. Because Mr. Young is doing quite well, and he just played the move bishop e7, forcing Lou to think really hard on what's next. How did it happen? Rook c8 was answered by queen a5, rook c5, queen a4, and now just bishop e7, yeah. The rook is trapped.
Yeah, that's a tough position for Lou. And I'm curious if there is any sort of counterplay, as the bishop on e7 is defending the pawn on h4, but if the bishop captures the rook, maybe there are some opportunities for black to attack the pawn on h4.
We can play knight f5, right?
Yeah.
Forcing rook takes f5.
And then rook takes e7.
Yeah, or you can take back on f5.
That works too. And then after bishop takes, you take on h4 first.
Yeah.
That seems like it could work for black.
Okay. Now it's a knight f5. Do we have other options?
Yeah, you're pretty much forced to capture the knight, otherwise you're losing material.
Yeah. So bishop e7, not so convincing maybe just yet. Does it allow rook f5, gf5, queen b4? Yeah, you allow it, but... Okay, the thing is, even if I just take on c2 here, I mean, black just won back the pawn, so... And also, the thing is, you just have an active position. This knight feels shaky, and bishop e7, you want to play this move if it wins material, but here it just, it doesn't. And it maybe even allows black to look for some tactics, because this whole setup with the bishop and the queen, just something feels off for whatever reason.
And it can be right, and especially when there's a knight around, you know there might be some trouble.
Exactly. Okay, knight f5 looks good. Maybe knight e6 is an option, but that's more complicated. She has some possibilities here to at least exchange the knight for the bishop, which I think she should be quite satisfied with if she manages to do so. And in the meantime, board 1 we have some. Yeah, no, board 1 is looking very, very good for China. Because as we saw, bishop b7 being played, bishop f4, gf5, and now knight d2, h5, rook a e1, just activating every single piece, knight g6, bishop c7. It's hard for black to open up here because there's always going to be problems on this f-file with the king still on f8. So you can't really achieve much on that side of the board, and on the queen side you're also losing pawns. So it's not fun.
Yeah, the pawns are simply dropping on the queen side, and black does not have anything for it.
Nope.
Yeah, it's a tough. It was a tough game for black. I mean, it looked very promising at first, but as soon as you start pushing the pawns, you're weakening a lot of squares around it, and this is the consequence that you have to face.
Yeah, it's difficult. And she just simply didn't succeed. Board 2?
Yeah, let's take a look what happens at board 2.
So we saw b4 and a4, but no knight c3, which is okay. It's understandable. You still have a very good position, so you can try many things here.
Producers reminding us to read the chat, and I was already looking at the producer like, alright. But we have Grandmaster Arthur Snijksens in the chat from Latvia, so that's it's really awesome to have Grandmasters also watching the stream. So welcome, and yeah, so we're in this position of board 2 in the first match.
Yes.
Let's take a look.
The pressure is on now. No more chess mistakes to be made. Cheering for Latvia. Let's hope they're not playing a Dutch team, right?
I will double check.
No, that was Austria.
Latvia is playing Slovakia.
Right. Then he's
Alright.
allowed to root for them. Then it's okay.
Noted.
So, yeah, so rook c4 played. I think Xiao is just building up tension. I just keep calling him Xiao and Tong. I just try everything. Anyway, we know what I'm talking about. Queen c7. And the thing is, you can probably always play knight c3 if you want. But now also e5 is hanging. Maybe he's aiming for queen a5, maybe just queen c5 to have this knight c3 as an extra strong move, because you can instantly go to a3 with your queen. There's so many possibilities here, and white has nothing for that in return.
Yeah, the attack is way too slow of white with the pawn on g4, not able to launch anything on the king side. Even if you play moves such as queen e4, rook h3 to attack on h7, black can simply defend it with one move, and then you have to start all over again. And in the meantime, black can already think of moves such as knight c3, rook coming up to b8, b3 is also an idea. So yeah, I really like black's position.
Yeah, black is looking strong. Also up on time massively, almost 20 minutes more on the clock. So and once again, he looks very relaxed and confident, the Chinese player. And Palstrid, he is also looks relaxed, but is in trouble, as we can see.
Also on the clock, by the way, that's a huge difference.
Yeah.
The Hungarian players are all lower on the clock. It seems like a pattern.
It once again underlines how good the performance of Armenia was in the previous round, holding them to a draw, because the Chinese team was just too strong.
Definitely.
I'm quickly scanning the other.
Shall we take a look at game 4 of the second match? I see that White sacrificed the exchange, and this looks like a pretty interesting position.
Yeah, we can see she's the exchange down. Akat on board 4. Engine likes it though. Other games rather balanced, and they also look quite balanced, but also complicated in a way. But let's see how promising the attack is for her on board number 4 in the match between Kazakhstan and Turkey. Do we want to see how this happened?
Let's take a quick look, because it's a very interesting position.
Let's just go back to the start for a very quick.
Oh wow, I
Walk through the
expected
game.
some Sicilian from some sort because it looked so sharp.
Yeah. C5 takes, rook e1.
Wow.
All looks very solid. E4 and now rook takes e5. Okay.
So it was pretty forced, but Queen e3 is indicating that you're accepting it already.
Yep. Rook takes e5, bishop takes e5. And the good thing is you have always have compensation with this bishop, because the king is rather unsafe. It's not like you're going to checkmate anytime soon, but it's just nice to have this this bishop on e5. It's just keeping the position closed as well. The rooks like open files, but there are none at the moment. So yeah, just good positional compensation for that exchange, and even f5 to make sure the position doesn't close up entirely. It's a clever move, I think, at least from a practical point of view. And now rook d7 being played. I guess maybe use rook f7, rook f8, bring a rook to f5, trying to use the light squares to become active and play around the white bishop.
And there's not a lot of space on the king side for the rook, so yeah, let's see how black will try to launch an attack there. But at least white is also able to defend pretty easily with the rook coming to g1. Rook can sit on g3, defend the f3 pawn. So yeah, still pretty complex for both sides on what to do in the next two moves.
Yeah, do you want to play h5 as white and open up more?
Yeah.
You can liquidate now with queen f5.
It feels very tempting to just trade the queens off and play rook g1 and go for the end game. Yeah, and rook g7 does not really achieve anything.
I was hoping it didn't. I mean, you also have two double pawns. It's not the most pleasant endgame. Hard to create more activity than this. I mean, this is it. It won't get any better than this, and it doesn't seem to be enough. So maybe no h5, but I think already a different move was played. A queen g4. Okay, but at least that's an equitable, because now you fix your pawn structure and you can try to push and create something on the king side. So this is okay.
Yeah, this is perfectly playable.
All right.
Where should we head next? if the chat has seen an amazing game that we are missing out on, please let us know in the chat. We'd love to jump around and see the other games as well, but we're mostly focusing here on the top 3 matches as we have our cameras ready over here. Those are the featured boards, and we also have the Dutch team on board 4. And yeah, so far there's no results, so all those games are still in play, but please let us know in the chat if you have a game that we should take a look at, and we'd gladly do so.
Let's just have a look at match number 3, which is between Armenia and Azerbaijan.
Ooh.
Just to have a look at, I think board 1 is a transmission error because there's no more queen for white there. So I'm not sure what happened there, but let's just ignore that board for now. Board 2, black seems to be doing very well. We see the Tetris formation on in the center there. This is typical Sveshnikov, and it's looking very nice for black. And Armenia is also doing well on board number 3. Launching a nice attack there. And board 4 is closed, for now at least. So Armenia is doing well. It all depends a bit on board number 1. I mean, I guess it's a transmission error, maybe.
On the DGT board, the queen
maybe
is also...
was just the queen down. How is that? Yeah,
let's take a look how that happened, and also we can have the camera on to confirm that the white queen is actually off the board.
Let's have a look. Let's go through the game real quick. King's Indian. Because we haven't seen the game, and I'm not sure where the queen was sacrificed or blundered.
So far it
Bishop
seems
h5.
safe on d2. Uh-oh.
Wait, bishop h5, and now knight takes c4. Well, yeah, if you allow knight takes e3, then you're just lost anyway, because d4 is also hanging.
Ooh.
So that's why you sacrifice the queen. But it's... Yeah, okay, queen d4, bishop e3 might be disturbing for black. Well, I mean, you can do anything here. Okay, no transmission error, just up a queen.
Yeah, queen versus a rook, and black is also up, or actually not up pawns, but it does feel that way because the g2 pawn is not going anywhere, and it's actually bishop takes h3 threatened. Oh, we got a few more moves on the board, but yeah, this is looking very rough for white. d5 is falling as well. Actually, you have to be careful.
Yeah, I think he gave a check on e3.
Okay, they're playing very quickly now.
And takes on c3. Yeah, no, this is just an easy win. I mean, white is probably just frustrated about losing this queen and keeps playing some moves, but it's to no avail. This is going to be an easy win for white. Sorry, for black, especially with the pawns on the queen side. It's rather simple. Now that must be upsetting for Peter Polshan, because Armenia is playing so well, and now he might get his team in trouble by making this mistake in the middle game. So let's quickly see the other boards in this match. We just saw this overview, but let's have a look at the position. Yeah, so this Sveshnikov is looking very strong because this pawn center.
Wow,
It's
another Tetris.
yeah, double reinforcements there. It's impossible to crack, and it's so hard to move these pawns on the queen side. They're not very mobile, so looking good for black, and also a big time advantage there for Gasparian against Ahmad. And board 3, we see Armenia attacking very nicely with the move f5. That just looks strong. The bishop's aiming at this king side, and the white queen also. Maybe knight h5. There's so many ways to continue the attack, and yeah, black is just offside. All the pieces on the queen side, but that's not where it's happening.
There's nothing happening on the queen side either. The knight is on b3, but what is it actually doing? And you'd have to consider sacrificing pieces to have something going for you on the queen side, but there's no way that black can make it work.
Nope. So Azadaliev is in trouble against Agasarov, it seems. And board number 4 is, as mentioned, a very closed position, so things might be happening here, but it will take a few more moves until someone decides to open up, I suppose. Shall we have a quick overview at the second match? And
Yeah,
I think
let's
after that
see.
we'll focus on board 1 again. But the second match, we see that Turkey is doing quite well. They seem to be better on board 1, better on board 2, slightly better on board 3, and slightly worse on board 4. We just saw the fourth board with the exchange sacrifice. Let's quickly go past all the boards individually and see exactly what is happening there. So board 1, we see that Aldir Ansari sacrificed the exchange against Edith Gurel, and he has 1 pawn for it, and he has a nice pawn on e5, but this bishop seems to be more of a defender than an attacker.
Yeah, yeah, it's simply staring down the e5 pawn, and I don't see this pawn move anytime soon. All the pawns of white are, in fact, on dark squares, so yeah, it's not really convenient for white.
Maybe you can try to play e4, but it also allows the knight to come to d4. Maybe he just has to sit back and wait. Board 2, we see Erdog moves against Sapinov, and this position is a bit more intense. White is down 2 pawns, but it's white to move. You can take a rook.
Yeah, that's what is happening in this game.
So what happened? So bishop a7 and then rook takes f4.
So after bishop takes b, there is queen c5 check.
Ah.
And okay, knight f2. We have this situation again where you just keep on giving checks, or you just take material.
Yeah, I thought the checks were not getting you anywhere anymore, but you can take c3 or take b2. I suppose. Yeah, or just give checks and maybe just play e5. Yeah, okay, this is just large advantage for black, I think, unless there's like bishop a7. Wait, maybe you should be more precise, maybe just queen f5. Then c7 is hanging. Hold on, there must be an easy move, right? That just
yeah, there must be a clear win. Can you maybe just play? I'm trying to move the knight to like a safe place and play rook f2 maybe. But e6 is also hanging.
Okay, maybe knight e4 then. King h1 and e5.
That looks nice.
Oh no, my knight is just hanging on e4. What am I doing? Okay. Did he play this? No. Oh wow, he went rook d4.
Rook d4? Wow.
Okay, so now b8 is hanging, b4 is hanging, e4 is hanging, e4 is pinned, and white has no pieces hanging.
That's rather interesting.
That usually is big trouble.
At least you have knight takes c3, so that saves 1 piece, but now the other 2.
Yeah, indeed, you can take here.
Maybe rook takes d4 first. Oh wait, bishop takes b8. It keeps going.
Wait, so we also have queen e6.
Oh yeah, that's a good intermediate move.
Yeah, and then rook f4. Yeah. So, no knight c3, I guess. these positions are not very suitable for the afternoon round near the end of the tournament.
You prefer the morning round?
Well, tactically speaking, yes.
Oh, this is insane.
Wow, what's happening here? There's just too many pieces hanging. What can you do? You're gonna make a move. You can do something, apparently.
Yeah, the reason why we were okay with bishop takes b8 is because you have queen c5 check, but now you don't have the check anymore. And on top of that, 2 of your pieces are hanging as well. And actually 3 now.
Okay, so once again, knight takes c3, queen e6, rook f7. Because black is, at the moment, up a piece. So I might be able to save a few things, also because rook e8 is coming with tempo. That means if you take the knight, I have rook e8, you have to move your queen, let's say g4, and now I can move this knight, and I'm up a pawn.
Mm-hmm.
Or I can even take the pawn on c3. And threaten checkmate myself. Black's just winning.
Yeah.
Yep, he takes on c3. Okay, so.
Ooh, it's on.
Now what is the proof of point?
So what happens if we take on e6, rook f7, and bishop takes b8? We take the rook.
Mm-hmm. So take here, take the rook. Yeah.
Okay, queen takes e6 is on the board, so we may see this happen.
Okay, this is looking pretty good. I can take on c2.
Rook f4 or f1. I can choose.
Well, but now I might have knight e2, right?
Ah, that's clever.
I mean, so many tactics.
Yeah.
If there's no puzzle coming out of this game, then.
Rook c1.
Ah, queen e6. Rook c1.
It doesn't end.
Rook c1, yeah.
Then maybe queen b6 check.
Yeah, they're making moves. What happened?
There is so much going on. Queen e6, rook f7 happened.
Okay.
So much is happening in this game.
Now to white to move options, you can take on b8. You can play this intermediate rook f1. Okay, the thing is, if you play this intermediate move, then it's always rook f8. Getting the rook safe and defending f7. So
But now you could take on b4, or you can just take a piece.
but there's still these. I don't feel comfortable about knight e2. King h1, and now maybe some weird queen move like. Try to unpin maybe d5. Unpinning your rook on this. If this works, it looks quite pretty. The point is, if the queen goes, then the rook is unpinned, and there's checkmate on f1. Okay, this is funky. What does he? He takes on b8, I think. Yeah, bishop takes b8. Okay, I want to see how this ends. Both players below 10 minutes.
Yeah, they still have quite some time left on the clock. At least they're not playing on seconds. There are some boards where we see that they're playing on seconds already. For example, on board 2 of the first match, Matthias is already on 15 seconds. So if the players here were on seconds as well, this would have been absolutely madness. But they still have some time to calculate the moves and try to play it as precise as possible.
Okay, so chat is saying knight c2, rook f1, knight e2, king h1 isn't winning for white. Well, maybe you have this. Now you don't have d5, of course, because this is a threat as well.
So queen d7?
Queen d7.
But then the trade must be worse. Well,
Yeah, you can take on f7 twice.
Ah, and then rook t2.
Yeah, and you also take the c7
Yeah,
pawn.
the two knights are never good together.
No, now you might even win a knight. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. So bishop b8 and knight takes c2 looks promising for black. No, for white, sorry. Can you take the rook on d4 instead of the one of f7? I think at the end of this line, right? No, I'm not sure what position. Okay, this is too complicated. But I think black is doing fine, and I'm just after trade of the queens.
Ah, instead of king takes
Oh
you
yeah,
take on
you
d4.
yeah you cannot do it indeed. But then also you're losing c7. Okay, it may not be as uncomfortable because your knights are able to move now, but still the endgame feels lost to me.
Yeah.
I don't think you can save these pawns, and if white gets a passed pawn, then it's over.
Yeah, it's a good point. There's so many pieces hanging, so you have to look out for all those captures.
All right, let's head back to match 1, because with time trouble, things are going fast, and I think board 1 is looking at a decision very soon, and we can see China is very much in control of the match. First 3 boards seem to have a large advantage, and Lou is hanging on in board number 4. So let's, I guess let's just check board 1, because I think that's it looks the most promising there to finish soon. So this pawn is dangerous.
Yeah, the rook is on g8 is trying to infiltrate on g2 and force some sort of repetition. At least when rook takes b2 will happen. At least you're stopping the b pawn from promoting just yet. But is there a way for black to trick white into a repetition?
I don't see it.
It seems like the king is simply able
That's
to run
right.
away.
You don't queen, but after rook a8, rook g2, just king. Sorry, king d1. You have to play, of course.
And then
You can also start with a king move.
it seems very worrying here.
Okay, this is unnecessary.
Yeah.
You played rook a5 check.
Oh, that's very clever to put the rook behind the pawn. Rook b5, and then the king can safely move all the way to a2.
Yep, good point. Very good point. King f4. Yeah, rook b5 seems very solid. Just keeping control. No tricks. No funny things. No, as Peter Svidler would say, no shenanigans. Yeah, and there we go. Good find, rook b5. And that should clinch this game, especially with black only down to 20 seconds.
Yeah, this is resignable very soon, as the pawn is promoting and black has no counterplay. The king is able to escape now via b1 to a2, and yeah, can be over any moment now.
Yep, we have the checks. Check on g2, check on g1.
Okay, I like the check on c1.
Check on c1, king
Still
a3.
keeps it going.
Knight goes back. Huh.
So rook a1 is actually a threat now, and the only way to stop this is to play king a2.
Wait. No, he has not. Wait. Knight d3
We
back.
completely missed knight c1, knight d3.
Okay, so knight e6 check. King e3.
This point might even get checkmated.
And there's knight d5, knight b4.
Ooh.
Okay. Solid defense. Oof.
That's tricky though.
Here, that's C1, but it's okay. You just queen and it's game over.
Yeah. Oh, if the pawn on c4 was defended, there's rook takes a2 and knight d3.
Wow. Yeah, that would be pretty cool now.
But now there's king takes c4. Wow.
Okay, I think Shui missed this defense maybe. He seemed a little bit in shock, but he has knight d5, knight b4.
He has plenty of time to figure this out. 15 minutes.
Yeah, but he's somewhat lucky that there is a solution because he's unlucky that there's some mating net he can't escape, but it feels like he had a bit of luck there that there's still this knight d5, b4 resource. But okay, that's all part of the game. I think having said all that, he is gonna win this game without any further trouble. King takes f3 has been played, and now knight b4 we're expecting, and he is we expect to see this one in the morning puzzle session tomorrow.
With the pawn on d5.
Let's see how good the script is doing.
Well, the previous game didn't get any matches yet.
Ouch. But she still continues. Yeah, trying to go for this sacrifice the rook and maybe achieve something in that endgame, which will be tough. Let's switch to a different game because I think game 2 also is very exciting.
Yeah, with Matthias down to 13 seconds, while there's lots of pieces on the board still. So, yeah, white under huge pressure. There's a lot of attention on the queen side, and it seems like black has a really good attack going on. But where is the final blow? We're unable to capture on c3. That makes it very difficult.
Not so easy. King seems relatively safe on c2 for the moment, in case of queen a5. It feels like you have a flight route there, but he played rook c4. He's just threatening to take on c3. King c1 played. You have knight b4 at your disposal if you like. You can also, you can't really take on e5 because this is also a threat. Knight b4 has been played. If you go rook d2, then you might have knight a2 and you might take there at some given moment. I think you may just be testing white, see if he makes any mistake here. Knight a2, there it is. Now if you go to the b file, it's knight takes c3. If you go to the d file, we'll find out now. He played king d1. Because the knight is trapped on a2, so he's making things rather uncomfortable for himself now, at least rather forcing. If there's a win, there's a win. But if there's no win, then the knight is out of play and will probably remain out of play. You can always take on
Yeah, I'm very tempted to take
b2,
a sacrifice the rook.
take on c3, you can win back the exchange, or win back the piece, so you're only down the exchange.
Maybe you even get to take e5 as well with check.
So here after.
Yeah, here after king e1, queen takes e5 does not seem very appealing. So rook takes d4. Are you actually threatening rook d1 here?
Yeah.
So now I would play king f1.
You can take on f7.
And rook b8.
Yeah.
Wow.
Okay, at least you escape as white. That's the most important thing, I guess.
Yes.
Queen f7, king h7. Yeah, that's smart. Because there's still this checkmate threat.
Wow.
Okay, now e5 is also hanging and there's checkmate. And okay, that's a clever move. That is very clever.
Yeah, this is very exciting. And meanwhile, Matthias still in time trouble, so yeah, his opponent is able to spend some time and make a decision here.
Wow. Okay, so yeah, he's also down to 6 minutes himself. And the third board, yeah, we have to switch faster now.
Yeah, we're
So
approaching
much to
time trouble phase, and a lot of the players are in huge time trouble, so we'll try to go around to see where the action is.
Here white is grabbing, white got the A pawn in this game and is pushing the A and B pawn. And black's counterplay is very slow, if it's even existing. E4. And we have a decision. Is that Turkey board 2? White 1. Right, and a draw on board 4.
Okay.
That's a weird position to agree on a draw. What's what? Okay, let's just have a and board.
Seems like there was some repetition.
They're dropping like flies now. Another decision. This time board 1 of China. So China's up 1-0, winning this endgame. Hao and Shui beating Joka Gal with his extra rook in the endgame. And with the second board of Turkey, let's have a look because we followed that game closely. Have a quick look how that one finished because we're curious to find out. Bishop b8, d5 was played. Rook e1, queen c5, takes on c3, takes on c2, and rook f1. Okay, that's crushing finish there.
That is a nice finish for Dogmus, winning his game over Sapinov.
Yes, and how this fourth game ended in a draw, I'm not quite sure because the final position looks.
It seems
they
like there was a
repeated moves.
repetition, yeah.
Right, yeah, okay, repeated moves and then agreed to a draw. Okay, still a funky position, not sure what's going on there. And we have another result. The game we just followed.
Kong won against Kolimar.
Yes, because massive simplifications, e4 takes, rook e1, pinning the bishop, grabbing the bishop and grabbing the rook.
And that's it.
Also bishop d3 available, so you're not even able to take any pawns as black. So, yep, China with a 2-0 lead. And also on board 3, or match 3, we see several results. We can have that one up on the screen. In total, we can see Azerbaijan winning board 1, which was expected, up the queen. Armenia won board 2 and board 3, and now board 4. Azerbaijan seems to have a much better position, but both players in time trouble. Anything might still be able to happen, but let's check in with China again, board 4.
Yeah. Let's see.
Just to get an overview of what's happening there in the China match. They're up 2-0. They just need half a point to win the match. And let's see. Yeah, I'm not sure about the current standings. Depends on what the other teams are doing. If there's some 2-2 behind them, then they are winning. Yeah, okay, tie breaks might
China
be
has
already
a
enough.
lot of board points, and their tie breaks are
Yeah, okay, if they
just
win,
insane.
they win on tie break anyway. If it's yeah, good point. So we can't say for sure yet, but I think 99% sure that they will win the tournament if they win this match. And it's interesting because Lewis has found a way to attack, and we know she does that, but it seems like she's managed again to put her opponent under pressure. And Well, white clearly has the extra pawns on the clearly has the extra pawns on the queen side, but black is attacking the white king, smoking out the white king all the way to the center, and maybe it gets her something. Maybe just queen g3 threatening rook h1 looks very smart to me. But she gave the check on h1. King f2, king f2. Okay, if you play rook h2, there's f5 hanging, but rook g5.
Rook g5?
Now what are you gonna do? Isn't she just winning?
Wait,
How can
was
you
this missed?
How can you play king f2?
You can see Lou's expression on her face. She knows exactly what is going on right now.
He blundered.
Wow.
He blundered big time. And you can't even go g4 and funky stuff because there's queen h2 check.
Rook g5 was just completely missed. He probably saw this move rook h2 and thought, you're not going to play this, I will capture the pawn f5, but rook g5.
He just has to go here. Okay, it's not fun either, but he has to run away. He resigns.
Resigned! What a shocker of a game!
She still manages to win. How is that possible?
Wow, 8 out of 8 points. This game seemed like she was definitely not going to win. And still, against all the odds, she still wins. Wow.
That's class. And having said all that, China wins the match and pretty much secures the tournament victory as well.
Brilliant performance, and we're not going to congratulate just yet, just to make sure that we're not making a mistake there, but we're almost certain that China has won the tournament.
Whoa. Here rook f4 is winning. What did he do? Yeah. Took on b2, took on c3, took on d4. King, it all came on the board. King h7 was played, king f1,
Wow.
queen c4. Amazing. Knight e2. Nice move, and rook f4 and resigns. China, another clean sweep. Beating Hungary 4-0. Easy game. GG. It's amazing. They make it look so easy.
Wow.
Incredible. Incredible performance. Yeah, this team, we should write down their names because we will hear more of those players in the future, that's for sure.
Definitely. I mean, we did not expect a 4-0 clean sweep over here, especially seeing that some of the boards were not very clear. There was some trouble, but they did it again. Wow.
Amazing performance by China. And yeah, Lou also still in the race for the perfect 9 out of 9. Okay. Match 2 is still ongoing.
We still have one game happening in match 2. So the score is currently, actually, Turkey has won already.
Match 2.
2.5 half is the score so far. So Turkey has already won the match, but can they win their game on board 1 as well?
Yeah, so they won their match already. Then maybe it's better to check the third match between Armenia and Azerbaijan,
because it's still 2-1 there.
Yeah, that one hasn't been decided yet. So let's have a look at that one. And only board 4 is in play, where white is up 2 pawns, and that position looks dominating. Between Abdinova and Harapetian, white is looking very, very strong. This knight is out of play, the bishop is, well, maybe in play, but also not doing anything special. And this bishop is controlling d5, and h6 is hanging, and no, that's...
yeah, it's looking very rough. I really wanted to play king f7, knight f6, and put my knight on g4, just to try to get some pawns myself as well. But maybe king g7 is a better version of this.
Yeah, but rook e7 is one move. I quite like to go bishop d6, where you have bishop e5 and also just d5 is hanging. But okay, so many ways to convert this edge, because d5 is now hanging, g5 is hanging. Yeah, you'll definitely win d5 at least. And that ensures that you always have the opportunity to activate your king. Should be a victory for Azerbaijan, which means they would tie this match. Yep, there we see. And the Dutch is also an interesting match. It's a 1-1 there. We might check that out after this one finishes, or maybe even now, because this game seems to be pretty much over. Do we have moves? We do, but just not on my screen. She's saving the d5 pawn though. Okay, that might be big, because now it's difficult for the white king to enter. Because your extra pawns are blocked.
Ooh, is there a chance this may be a fortress?
She looks upset. She looks very upset.
Wait, what happened?
She played knight f6. No.
Oh, dropping pawn on d5, and even though it's an opposite color bishop endgame, there's too many pawns on white side.
She is upset. No, she's disgusted. She resigns?
Wow.
How? Why do you resign?
Yeah, that seems like a tilt situation where she just thought she dropped the pawn and that's it.
I know you're worse, but did she really resign?
Yeah.
I mean, I know you're down 3 pawns, but you should try in the opposite color bishops. I mean, there's room for miracles there.
Yeah, it's true, especially because the b3 pawn is stopped, and yeah, there's definitely some opportunities to try to hold
I mean,
this.
if you stick this diagonal with your king there, okay, maybe she would still have lost, and I guess she was just very disgusted. But resigning is a bit too premature there. But that means that this match is tied between Armenia and Azerbaijan. And let's head to the Dutchies.
Yeah, let's take a look.
We see a victory by Arthur de Winter and a victory by Deak Salah, which means the current score is 1 against 1. And let's see if I can find the games. Yes, I can. So He Chen-Han is struggling this tournament. And also this game, he's down a pawn in the endgame against Laurent Boorman, and no, he's playing white, my apologies. Yeah, so he's down a pawn. Way to go. But he seems to have a lock on the position here. The knight and the pawn are keeping it close, so I think he can triangulate with the king on these 3 squares, and only a g5 move is the only possibility here to achieve anything, but I think you can just ignore the move. And I think even g4 you can ignore.
Yeah, there is no way for white to access, really. For black, I mean.
Okay, this might be too tricky, but I think they made a draw. Yeah, nothing's happening here. Also g5 you can take twice, it's nonsense. Okay, so that's a draw. That means the match is 1.5, 1.5, and we only have 1 endgame remaining, which is between Prajit Sai Kumar and Robert Ernst. And that's another knight against bishop endgame, and also here black is up a pawn.
Black is up a pawn, and the black king is much more active, and it may just head towards the king side to take on h4.
So bishop f7, king d3, and why do we allow that? Because king d, no, but what's the point? I guess knight e2.
Yeah, we give a check. And then a king enters, king e4.
Yeah, and then you go to e4 with the king. That's important. Yeah.
And slowly black infiltrates, and we'll get to h4.
Okay, king d2, king e4, knight g3 check. I think you can just start to pick up these pawns now.
Yeah, the king is actually already on f3, and knight e2 has been played.
E2, yeah, you even have time for d3, I suppose.
Yeah.
And then just king g4 and take these pawns and have 2 connected pass pawns. Should be enough to win this endgame. Which is unfortunate for the Netherlands, because they will lose this match against Austria, which is Austria's not that weak. I think they're seeded number 11.
Yeah, they're not so bad. They're
Yeah.
11th indeed,
So they're quite
but it's
strong.
still an upset because the Netherlands is ranked 4th. So, yeah. And in the meantime, we see that Edis Gurel has won his game after all. So that means that Turkey wins 3.5 against Kazakhstan, which is a great result because Kazakhstan was ranked number 1 in the tournament.
Well done by Turkey. Well done. How did the game finish? Can't recall what end game this was. This was the exchange up, right? And he manages to convert nicely. Activate the king, gives back the exchange, but his position is very good here. A3 is a good move. Okay, this is oof. Not such an easy endgame, by the way. But he's too active. We've seen some good endgame technique, by the way, this event.
Yeah, very impressive. And C3, wow. All right. So the top 3 matches have finished. Let's take a look who else is playing, because we saw the game of Austria against the Netherlands. Yeah, this position, they played a few more moves, but the position on the board seems rather difficult for White.
It's strange, he went back and still went for this F4 line.
Yeah. So yeah, there's a passed B pawn now, but this pawn is not really going anywhere, especially because black has this bishop that is able to access many squares. It can sit on E4 and is controlling the entire diagonal.
Yeah, and also making sure the knight doesn't go to F3, trying to block this H-pawn. So bishop E4 looks strong. H3 being played. Why in a rush? Why would you allow the knight to come back? Okay, it's probably all winning.
Mm-hmm.
Let's not be too critical here. B5. Still allowing bishop E4 once again. That just finishes the game. Yeah, bishop E4 played. And I think that will decide this match in favor of Austria. And then we have to search for other ongoing games, and we see the match between... Ooh, they are...
Yeah, let's take a look. There are a lot of end games going, a lot of bishop and knight end games.
Oh boy. Another team in blue. Kazakhstan too, maybe? Uzbekistan, yeah.
Uzbekistan against Greece. There was a queen versus knight end game. It's still going on, I believe, but that should be over.
I think a queen. I think once in Title Tuesday, this queen against knight end game was actually drawn between 2 title players, and maybe even IM or Jim didn't make progress and couldn't win. It was very shocking.
Wow. Yeah, there you see it. Anything happens. So playing on until the very final moment is not such a bad idea.
Right, the game between Kavardinas and Omonov. Yeah, I mean, you should be able to win this. We know king and knight can be tough, but not so tough. What else do we have? Anything
We
interesting
have
on the other boards? We
Australia against Canada, where White has a bishop and is up a pawn. Actually, no, it's not up a pawn, but is able to create a passed pawn. But is the bishop better than the knight over here? Are there any winning chances for either side? Remains unclear.
I think we can see this. No, Canada, Australia. I'm not sure where they're seated. They might be sitting the lower floor and the ground floor.
Yeah, board 10.
No, then we can see them sitting. Isn't that board 4 just right on top of the screen? Yeah,
Yes.
that's the game.
Uh-huh.
We have a visual. Okay, and we have some moves as well. Things are going fast, so we do
Wait,
rely
where's
on.
this pawn going? Already got to G. f3. Okay, now g2, the pawn will be stopped after king f2.
And the knight is almost trapped. After bishop e4, you trap the knight. And
This feels really bad, but you still have knight g2. Now after king f3, you play knight e1 check.
yeah. So I guess king d2, bishop e4, king e3. Ooh. Okay, your knight is not trapped, that's a good thing.
But now black has to fight for the draw because the pawn on b5 feels very weak and the knight doesn't really seem like a good defender here.
How do you get to this pawn? It's difficult because the bishop is guarding all those squares.
Yeah.
Here we can see them right in the back. How do you get your knight there?
Yeah, a centralized bishop is just so powerful and this may still be a draw, but I can see this go really wrong pretty easily.
He goes knight h5. Yeah.
Okay.
Maybe it's time to just go. I don't know, if you go king d4, there's knight f4 again.
You can play bishop f3 and king f4 to pick up the pawn.
Yeah, I like that. This way around is not so exciting because I think knight f6 now is a possibility. You don't really have too many squares on the diagonal.
This is not so
You
pleasant.
can try bishop a8, but it feels.
A king b8.
Yeah, and then bishop c6.
And yeah, we can. Oh, you're losing the pawn on b5. Yeah, that's an issue.
Okay, maybe this is smart. But the moves. Yeah, that's. I'm pretty sure moves have been played. Let me just try and reload this one.
Yeah, let's take a look. Let me find this on this screen that we have here.
Yeah, move 40. I think 44.
There you go.
Yeah. Oh, it advanced quite a bit.
So king f3, knight f6.
Oh,
Oh, okay, there we
it
go.
is.
We have it on our view as well. King e5 has been played. 10 seconds left on the clock for king.
But knight is 6, right? You just this is just a draw.
Yeah. Yeah, the pawn on b4 is picked up now and this should be an easy draw. And
Right.
then we will have one more game going on between Georgia and Ukraine. Kirtadze against Fishuk.
So is it an easy draw?
I'm now worried for it, Sukswang, now that you're saying.
Okay, yeah, knight f6 looks strong. King takes.
Knight b8.
Knight b8 only move. And let's say you play a bishop here. I guess you can go knight d7, and then if you get your king here, you're safe. And since you are guarding the b6 square.
And there's no.
Ah, but that's bishop c6. No, wait, knight e5.
Oh yeah, you just capture that bishop if the king moves. So knight e5 and then king a7 on the next move.
Yeah. Okay, still a bit tricky, but it should be king takes, knight b8, bishop f3 played. Yeah, there's nothing tricky left, right? You can also go king c8 maybe. Just sit here with the knight. Move your king up and down. Okay, you're right, should be a draw. I was worried there might be some Zugzwang issues there, but that's not the case. Okay, what else have we got? Georgia, Ukraine, is that
Yes, that's the final game happening there. Another bishop and knight endgame.
nice. Very thematical.
And this should be a draw as well.
Yeah, with 2 pawns against 2.
on the same side.
Don't think black is gonna be able to win that pawn, and white also has the wrong color bishop in case of a single H pawn remaining. So, only these two games are still ongoing?
Yes. Very exciting.
Well, we can just switch between those games.
Mm-hmm.
If we get moves. Oh yeah, we have knight d7. I mean, this is an endgame where you could make a mistake.
Yeah, that's true,
that's
especially in time
Now
trouble.
you're going the wrong way. Now it's just king a7 if you like. Knight d3. Okay, but you're reaching. Okay, just go here. Just finish the game.
Ooh.
Just get it over with. King a7. No. No. Where are you going?
Ooh, the knight has to retreat?
Yeah.
Actually, you have knight a6.
Yeah, it's
still.
safe because you have king a7, so it's
Yeah.
going to be safe here.
Okay.
Okay, scary stuff. Georgia, Ukraine. Kirtatse against Fischuk.
So this game actually matters a lot because the score is tied. No, it's actually not tied. Georgia has already won the match. So, yeah, that means the players are not playing for the match. But
Nope.
yeah, let's see if they can try to find some sort of advantage here. But it should be really difficult. Okay, don't play king g2.
Okay, but now you're being pushed back.
You should be able to hold it when you put the bishop on g4 and just maneuver bishop h5, bishop g4.
How are you holding it then?
Or maybe bishop e4 is
I
more
can attack
accurate.
with I can attack with the knight as well, right?
Yeah.
Okay, there's some funny lines. I mean, for example, if you so what you're trying to do is try and attack the f3 pawn with two pieces. So let's say you play king e3, king g2. Now you want to have your knight here, so you give check, and also attack the pawn. So let's say you go knight b2, knight d3, and you go knight e1 check, and now you can take the pawn, but it's stalemate. So that's your only chance, but it's never going to work. That's depressing.
Yeah.
So that means you can't really win the f pawn. Okay, this is fun though. If you play bishop h5, you have check. You can't go to g2, so you have to go to the corner. And now it's forced checkmate. Haha.
Oh, that is very tricky. Oh no, the king can take
yeah,
h1.
it happened. It happened. She can go king of.
Oh no.
Oh, he can go king of 1. It's a he, not a she. Wow.
Yeah, he can play king of
He
1.
played it.
Oh, what a checkmate.
Wow, she resigns.
Oh, that is painful.
That is amazing.
That is really painful.
Wow.
And that goes to show, in time and trouble, anything happens.
Oh man. Hold on. So how unnecessary was this? No offense. I mean, you can.
Well, after bishop h5, she was forced to go to h1 pretty much, otherwise she was losing the bishop.
Yeah.
So I guess
Just get it out of there.
just drop the pawn.
I mean,
Drop the pawn and try to put the bishop on b7.
drop the pawn and run. Just. Also, bishop e4 feels, as you mentioned, a bit safer. Wow.
The knight is a very tricky piece, and that goes to show once again. And also a good learning lesson is that kings do not want to sit in the corner in endgames. This is devastating.
Move 100, king f1, resigns.
It's actually really crazy because the players have no idea about the moves.
Wow. Okay, that's an amazing finish. So, oof, painful one. All right, that means we have all games finished. What an exciting end to this round.
Yeah.
A round where I think we saw China grab tournament victory. There are 2 match points ahead of which teams actually? Because there's also a tie. No, of course Turkey won their match so they are still trailing by 2 match points. And yeah, so this is before the round. So Turkey beat Kazakhstan and China beat Armenia. So China will be on 15 match points, Turkey on 13. But they already played, and China's tiebreak is just so impressive. There's no way. I mean, even if China is losing and Turkey is winning, which is both not very certain yet, then still China probably wins on tiebreak. So I think we can almost say for sure that China has won the tournament, 99% sure.
Yes.
But if they just make a draw tomorrow or win, then of course they clinch the title easily without any calculations. So having said that, tomorrow might be, well, not relevant for the tournament victory, but also there's second and third places to
played for.
Yeah, exactly. To play for. And also we have this, well, board 4 of China, Lu. We would love to see her get 9 out of 9.
Absolutely. And there's also board prizes, so the players are still competing for those as well.
Yeah, unless you're sitting board 4.
Then you probably don't make a good chance anymore.
No, but also there's gold, silver and bronze medals, so yes, you're right. They are still all competing for prizes, so that's great. So 1 round to go tomorrow morning, which is at 10:30 local time in the morning. And yeah, after that there will be a closing ceremony for the players at 4. And then the tournament's already finished. It feels like we're just getting warmed up, but
it feels like we just got started, but no, tomorrow is the final round already. It's been a wild ride, but yeah, tomorrow we will see who win the medals in this tournament.
Yep, so we're calling it today here, and I want to thank everyone for watching. Make sure to tune in tomorrow morning, and if you want to see some other content than just us talking about the games, make sure to check the socials and look around for #YouthOlympiad. You will see some nice content created by our social content team. So thanks everyone for watching, and see you all tomorrow.
See you tomorrow.
Hi, who's your favorite chess player?
Okay, it's happening. Everybody stay calm.
Magnus.
Я не помню.
Magnus Carlsen?
Magnus Carlsen.
Nakamura.
Probably Magnus Carlsen.
Magnus Carlsen. Magnus.
And what about you?
Ding Li Ren.
Magnus Carlsen.
Magnus Carlsen.
Magnus Carlsen. Magnus.
I don't have a favorite chess player. I'm my favorite chess player.
Hi everyone, this is smartest square kilometer in Europe with all the smart companies around. And we do have a chess tournament running right now, Youth Olympiad. Right after the game, I'll ask them some chess questions and let's check how smart they are. Follow me. Who was the first official world champion?
William Steinitz.
In 1988, a computer won against Grandmaster for the first time.
Deep Blue.
Deep blue! Deep blue!
It is deep, but not blue.
What?
In it?
Then it's a deep ocean. Deep. That's something.
How many moves was the longest chess game in history?
270?
You are very close. Very, 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 like super.
269.
Yes. What is the name of chess played by post or email?
Correspondence game.
Correspondence.
This is the smartest. Sorry.
Very important in terms of experience. They're getting, making friendships, and also testing themselves. The Under 16 Olympiad is now recovering from COVID times. Almost 50 countries are here, many more teams, very competitive, and also seeing those kids after school championship in Kazakhstan as well is a very nice thing. Some of them will become professionals, some not, but the event will be in their memories for life. Well, I think it's critically important. We are like a family. Chess community is really big. There are only a few dozens of like top professionals, but hundreds of thousands people love playing chess, and this comes from the youths, from young ages when they play against each other, and they keep playing in clubs in different parts of the world. They're traveling, and this event is one of the starting points for many of them. So we should actually strengthen this tradition, have more tournaments like that, maybe in Rapid and Blitz format as well, besides this half classical chess. So we will try to do that. I think yes, they have good coaches. Actually, I can see some of the coaches coming from professional chess, so they're looking at the most talented kids to bring them to national teams afterwards, maybe in a few years. And this event is a real test for some of the talented kids, if they will show the strengths that they can play well and keep themselves under control even despite the emotions, and they can become very good players. And I can see that people are watching some of those kids. So I really hope that we will see some of them in our future top events. First of all, our congratulations to one of the oldest federation, Dutch Federation, and this Olympiad here is also because of this anniversary. Was a really important connection. So Dutch Federation remains a very strong a strong part of our chess community. But there are top events still being organized here, especially by Kanzea, of course, in the beginning of the year. Before it was Tilburg, which is very close to this place. But also an important thing is to bring chess to university campuses and to connect with tech business. So this event, I think, is placed very well here in Eindhoven, near Philips, DAF, and other companies. And maybe some kids who are playing here will become students or will work for these companies, who knows.